Hey folks, welcome to the show today. You're stuck with me. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson. We're going to fly solo, but we're going to talk about viral vaccines. IBR, BVD, BRSV, PI3. Stay tuned. We're going to learn about intranasal, parenteral, killed, modified live, and much more.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here at Kansas State University. We're going to talk about viral vaccines. And when we talk about viral vaccines, there's a lot of debate on intranasal versus injectable versus killed versus modified live versus different antigens. So I thought, let's just talk a little bit about viral vaccines, what they are, how they work, and what's incorporated in them. And so virus, first of all, let's just start out with virus. Viruses are a lot smaller than bacteria. Matter of fact, viruses are like cold viruses and things like that. For the most part, they cannot live outside the body. They need to be transferred from host to host. And so we're talking about something that replicates or goes into the body's cells, has to live within the animal. And what will happen is it will actually use the centers that make DNA or RNA to replicate its viral particles. And so that's how it kind of grows in the body. And then after the virus has been in the body for some time, the body will recognize that as being foreign. And the good news is viruses come into the body quick. They steal some of the gearing or mechanism of a cell, but they're also cleared from the body much quicker than a bacterial infection. For the most part, primary infections, when we talk about like bovine respiratory disease, we'll talk about a primary infection followed by a secondary opportunist infection. So the primary infection, an IBR virus or a BVD virus, comes into the body and it causes disease, suppresses the immune system, gets the attention of the immune system, and while the immune system is working on that virus, or if the immune system is being suppressed by that virus, the secondary invaders, such as Mannheimia hemolytica or Pasteurella multocida, sets up and colonizes in the lungs and causes the actual disease. But most of the time, these viruses are what's setting up. When we get a cold as a human being and then we wind up with pneumonia if we don't take care of ourselves. You've always heard mom say that, right? You get a cold, take care of yourself or you're going to get yourself the death of pneumonia. Stay warm, dry. Plenty of fluids, things to that nature are what help the immune system stay functioning to neutralize or erase a viral infection. Why is that important? Because the same mechanism that body uses to erase or remove a viral infection from the body is exactly what happens when we vaccinate for a virus. So whether it's a killed vaccine or a modified live or an intranasal, if we don't have an animal with a functioning immune system, we will not have a functioning immunization. So there's a difference between vaccinating and immunizing. Vaccinating is physically putting the vaccine through the needle into the calf. Immunizing is when we put the vaccine into the animal, the antigen is presented, the immune system then forms an immune response against that virus or against that antigen, causing what we call immunization. Therefore, the next time that animal is exposed to that virus, we will have memory or we will have some sort of immune response so that when the virus hits, the calf's protected. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about some of the different types of vaccines.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Working your cattle just got easier. Introducing the new Vet Gun delivery system, a new way to apply topical insecticides to your cattle. The Vet Gun lets you remotely treat cattle with effective parasite control, so you can do it just walking among the herd. It's that simple. The proven topical insecticide AML Vet Cap is used with the Vet Gun. It works fast to control horn flies and lice while minimizing stress on your cattle. Fast, easy, effective. Vet Gun. Check with your animal health supplier for availability.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here at Kansas State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. Really appreciate y'all joining the show today. We're talking about vaccines, and I want to start out by talking about some of the differences in intranasal versus injectable vaccines. So as we discussed, when we inject a vaccine or provide an intranasal vaccine, we're actually putting the virus into the animal. It might be killed, it might be modified live, and when we talk about modified live, that means it's modified such that it looks like the virus to the immune system, but it can't cause the disease. So we put the modified live for intranasals or for injectables into the animal. The difference between an intranasal and an injectable is that when we give the intranasal vaccine, it just stays in the nose or in the nasal passageways. And we get a localized type of immune response there, and we can get some systemic or all around the body protection. But that virus or that antigen from that intranasal vaccine, when we spray it in the nose, just stays in the nose. And so it's causing an immune response even though it's outside the body, considered being in the nasal cavity. When we inject a vaccine, that's when the vaccine goes through the same thing as if an animal inhales it or ingests it or it gets in the bloodstream, and we get a antibody response or an immune response to that foreign particle or that virus in the body. So the real difference between intranasal is the intranasal stays in the nose and causes the immune system being outside the body, and therefore the actual vaccine is not neutralized. When we give an injectable, the vaccine is neutralized, or the virus from the vaccine is neutralized just like it would if the animal was exposed to the virus in the wild, okay? And so both of them elicit an immune response. There's been some claim that the intranasal will produce a little bit quicker immune response than the injectables, but when you look at it in the field, it really doesn't make that much difference in protection or control. I can tell you this, that the difference between a killed and a modified live vaccine is this. When we give a killed vaccine is we grow up the virus, we kill it, we put it into the vaccine vial. Modified live is one that's been genetically modified, that it has the same viral structure, but it doesn't cause disease. And it's alive, so when we inject it, it can replicate. The difference is when we give a killed vaccine or a modified live, we get what we call a humoral immune response. The antigen, the virus, is put into the body. The immune system creates an antibody. That antibody then neutralizes the virus, okay? Both modified live and killed vaccines cause an antibody response. The modified live vaccine causes what we call a cell-mediated immune response, which is nonspecific, meaning anything within the body that's not considered self is attacked. So some people consider the modified live to be a little bit more of a nonspecific immune response initiator when we give them. When we come back, we'll pick up a little bit where we left off and talk about some of the things that are in our viral vaccines for bovine respiratory disease.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if your cattle get out, you could be held liable for that? Call me. Let's have a discussion. 316-945-6733.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecrop.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
Mark your calendars for Tuesday, March 26th in Beloit, where the first ever Stock Growers Field Day will be held by K-State Research and Extension, the Kansas Livestock Association, and the Kansas Bull Test. The event will be highlighted by a market outlook from Cattle Facts, as well as a presentation from well-known reproductive physiologist Dr. Rick Funston, where he speaks about increasing production efficiency. From there, we'll also play host to over 30 ag-based businesses in the trade show and enjoy breakout sessions where producers can listen to speakers on topics that apply directly to their operation. This event should cater to producers of all size and scale and offer a social aspect as well, so we look forward to seeing you there for the inaugural Stock Growers Field Day in North Central Kansas.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
We do business with Blueville because of the quality of their work. It is excellent quality, and because they make a commitment to their customers.
We enjoy the benefits of hiring a good company to help us maintain this home.
We will always do business with Blueville. We have for many, many years, and there's no reason for us to look for any other service.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson. We're talking about viral vaccines. We're here at Kansas State University's College of Veterinary Medicine and try to simplify things. I'm not a real complex person when it comes to, I have to make things pretty cookbook to be able to understand it myself. And so when I think about killed vaccine versus modified live, one of the things is I get a humoral immune response or an antibody, a titer, right? You know, whenever you go in to get checked to see if you have a titer to something, that means that you have antibody, okay? So we get a titer response when we give modified live or killed. I get that non-specific cell-mediated immune response when I give a modified live. On the flip side, one of the advantages to a killed vaccine is that I know that that vaccine is dead and it's not going to cause disease in the animal. So I can give a bigger dose of the viral particles to that animal than what I could with a modified live, because the question would be, if that modified live vaccine is given in too big a dose, sometimes it is thought that it could cause disease. So some of the pluses and minuses of both modified live and killed. The one thing about a killed vaccine is that most of the time if you give a killed vaccine, you're going to have to booster those calves with a killed vaccine 21 to 28 days later. Unless you're in an environment where there's going to be constant exposure to one of those viruses, then you don't have to worry about it because they revaccinate themselves. And we've been around enough put together cattle and high-risk cattle to understand that type of situation as well. So we've talked about intranasal versus injectable. We've talked about killed versus modified live. Work with your veterinarian to develop a vaccine protocol so that you know if you're dealing with pregnant cows versus high-risk calves versus yearlings or replacement heifers. Everybody has a different protocol, different geographies, but the one thing that's common in viral vaccines is basically we're dealing with 5 that we vaccinate for. When you go and buy that bottle of 4-way viral vaccine or buy that 5-way viral vaccine, the 5 viruses that we have in that bottle are infectious bovine rhinotracheitis virus, which is IBR. Everybody calls it IBR. The lay term for that is red nose. Okay, so red nose. We have BVD, bovine viral diarrhea, so BVD type 1 and BVD type 2, which are 2 biotypes. So if you have a 4-way viral vaccine, it'll have just BVD type 1. If you have a 5-way viral vaccine, it'll have BVD type 1 and BVD type 2. I almost always recommend the 5-way modified live viral. Again, work with your veterinarian. The third antigen, bovine BRSV, bovine respiratory syncytial virus. We've all seen respiratory syncytial virus in humans, dogs, different types, but this one is specific to cattle. And then the fourth antigen is PI3, or parainfluenza 3. Now, we rarely see disease from parainfluenza 3 in our industry. And I had one person, I asked them, I said, well, why do we vaccinate for it? And they said, well, quit vaccinating for it and you'll find out. And so in a 5-way or 4-way modified live or killed viral vaccine product, multivalent product, IBR, BVD type 1, BVD type 2, BRSV, PI3. When we come back, we're going to wrap up about vaccines, how they work, what we recommend, and how they work within our production system.
I'm Rexanne Struve, veterinarian in Western Iowa. I have a veterinary clinic and started doing stem cell therapy on dogs in August of 2014. And after the first 2 dogs, after 3 weeks, I saw such dramatic results. I said, hey, I have arthritis. I have joints that really need this help. Where can I go to get this done? I had stem cell therapy done in November of 2014 on my finger joints, my hip, and the ball of my left foot, all of which I'd had real severe problems with. Saw a pretty dramatic improvement in a short amount of time. I would certainly recommend that somebody don't wait until I'm in the position that I was in with the damage already done to my joints. I encourage veterinarians to use it for their animals, and I encourage anybody who sees this video, if you have need, get in contact with these people because this is a phenomenal place to have this done.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
It's the indication, bovine respiratory disease. Could it be for foot rot? There's a list of species, indications. After that, what's the dosage, what's the route of administration, and then what's the withdrawal time, or the time in which it's safe to take an animal to slaughter from the time in which the animal was last treated until that animal was slaughtered. So, species, indication, dosage, route of administration, withdrawal. All of these are important components on the label, so make sure that you follow them and use antibiotics judiciously. Boehringer Ingelheim's Cattle First.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964. Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook or Twitter.
Hey there, folks. Welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here at Kansas State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. We're talking about vaccines, viral vaccines to be specific. And one thing when you hear somebody say, well, they've had their shots, in general terms, we have blackleg vaccines, which is the clostridial vaccines. We have respiratory viral vaccines, which are what we're talking about here, the 4-way or 5-way modified live or killed, which is also, they're also reproductive diseases. When we look at IBR, BVD, those two can not only be a respiratory virus, but they can also be something that causes abortion in cows, okay, or decreased pregnancy rate. And then we have our Bacterins, which we've talked about in previous shows, which are your gram-negatives, the Mannheimia hemolytica, Pasteurella maltasta, Histophilus, which Mannheimia hemolytica, for those of you that are my age and my vintage, that's Pasteurella hemolytica. They've just renamed it. Histophilus somnus, that's Haemophilus somnus, renamed it again. So anyway, those are three types of vaccines that we're really going to focus on. Blackleg is something that we're giving at branding. We might repeat it at weaning. Probably don't do it again. Anytime that I band a calf to castrate by banding, I want to make sure that I give a tetanus toxoid because that will prevent tetanus in those calves. When we look at these viral vaccines, we're giving these all the way through the production system and we're boostering them. But for a baby calf, we're going to give it at branding. We're going to give at least 1 dose at weaning, and if we precondition where we have 2 doses, we may give 2 doses. And that will carry that animal through the feeding period all the way to the end. The only other time I might see somebody vaccinate with a viral vaccine is at the time of reimplant. Part of the reason is if we sort and we have cattle with different immune status or carrying different diseases, the people might revaccinate. There's also a discussion of a suppressed immune system when we reimplant, and so it's a time that we can booster. I think some people have dropped that practice, but for respiratory disease, most of the time we're going to do it is at 3 months of age and then once and twice at weaning or at feedlot entry, okay? When we're talking about reproductive diseases, obviously we're going to provide that animal with the vaccine at branding. We're going to provide it with the animal at weaning. But then we have our pre-breeding shots, and we look at those heifers. We want to give at least 2 rounds of viral vaccine to those heifers, spaced 21 days apart. And then we will booster the cows, generally speaking, either at branding before turnout because it's a reproductive vaccine, or potentially at preg check time. The one thing I don't do is I don't put a modified live vaccine in a bred animal. Just something that is a practice that's been instilled upon me by many immunologists over the last year. So it's something that is up for debate and something that's up for question. I hope today's show was informative to you. I tried to simplify things so that I can understand it myself. I can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all watching the show. thank you for believing in us and supporting us. Always work with your local veterinarian. Make sure that if you want to see what we do at DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.